fill the open aldermanic seat in the 24th Ward on the city's west side. That was after Alderman Michael Chandler decided not to run for a 5th term. The 62-year-old withdrew his name 2 weeks after filing his nominating petitions. At his worst, Chicago Tonight had discovered that Chandler was missing 94% of his city council committee meetings. Not a good record. The 2 top vote getters to replace him in the February election are now in a runoff. They are Michael Scott Jr., who won 31% of the vote, and Beatrice Boyce, who got 16% of the vote. The 24th Ward is on the west side. It includes most of Lawndale, all of Holman Square, plus some of Douglas Park and Little Village. Now joining us in the order they appear on the ballot are Beatrice Boyce, a 50-year-old businesswoman who worked her way up from receptionist to vice president of a tool distributor. She's now the CEO of her own construction and real estate management company. And Michael Scott Jr., a 38-year-old native of the North Lawndale neighborhood. He oversees 35 park facilities as a central region manager for the Chicago Park District. His name may sound familiar. His father is the late Michael Scott Sr., former president of the Chicago Board of Education. Thank you for being here with us.
It's a pleasure.
I'll start with you, Ms. Boyce. Why do you want this job?
I'm running for alderman because I feel like I have a responsibility to help those that have been hurt by the current wave of poverty. In North Lawndale, we have so much desolated land, abandoned buildings, vacant lots, lack of businesses, schools that are being closed. We have children that are standing out on the corners, lives lost, police brutality. You name it, it's happening in North Lawndale. And with my background, my professional experience, with my love for the community, my commitment, my dedication, being present in the community, raising my family in the community, my youngest child being 20 and my oldest 32, it's time for me to hit the street running and help bring an economic infrastructure to the 24th Ward that's badly needed.
Mr. Scott, why do you believe you're the best person to tackle all these problems?
Well, I think that in the 24th Ward, everybody wants to live, work, play, and raise their family in a safe community. I believe that we need to clean up the 24th Ward. I believe that we need to have a better relationship between the police department, and those are all things that I do currently at the Chicago Park District, and I'll bring those tools that I have to the 24th Ward to better our community.
And Ms. Scott, you mentioned the problems with poverty in your ward. What can you do specifically to attract jobs and bolster economic prospects?
Well, one thing that hasn't been done in the 24th Ward in the 24th Ward is the marketing of the resources as well as the concentrated net worth of the community. I found this information on the City of Chicago website where a community with the median income between 18 to 25,000, yet we're spending close to 400 million plus in things like food, clothing, and electronics. Using that tool to market businesses that can employ people in large numbers is something that I'm looking forward to doing. With many of the vacant lots that we have in the 24th Ward, we can bring a lot of viable businesses there. There's a food desert there. There's a great need for grocery stores, some big boxes. There's a great need in 24th Ward, and I'm here to bring that change.
Mr. Scott, Ms. Boyce mentioned there's a food desert, there aren't grocery options or restaurant options. How do you specifically bring those businesses to the 24th Ward?
Well, the first thing we need to do is clean up our ward. I mean, I've been from block to block, neighborhood to neighborhood, and before we can bring businesses in, before we can bring residents back to the 24th Ward, we have to clean up our ward. Again, individuals are craving for a better public safety model. Before we can bring businesses in, before we can bring residents in, we have to address those issues. And so the first thing that I would do is literally and figuratively clean up the 24th Ward.
And you're saying, has it been ignored? Sure, go ahead.
We can clean up the ward every day. I pick up garbage outside of my house every day. We have had companies to come in and clean vacant lots.
Has the current alderman neglected these things?
Absolutely, it's been neglected in a great way. You can clean up the ward on Monday, it's back dirty again on Tuesday. So you have to do some more aggressive things to draw businesses to the 24th Ward. Cleaning the ward is one thing, but you have to bring in economic infrastructure to the community. This community is ready. They're ready for an enhancement. They're ready for job opportunities. They're ready. They're ready to fill the vacant lots with homes right now.
I've talked to the Restaurant Association. I've also talked to many business owners, and they crave. I talk to residents. They crave for their community to be clean. Now, I'm not saying that we don't need economic infrastructure, but there are things that have to go first. And a priority in our community, and I've talked to residents day in and day out, is cleaning this community.
Well, if his job is to clean, look at our park districts. Okay, he's been managing our park districts for how many years?
for the last 7 years,
7 to 10 years.
and we have
If you look at the conditions of the park district, it's
rate.
awful. It's awful. Let's take
That is
Franklin
not
Park.
true. That is not true.
Let's take Franklin
Mr.
Park
Scott,
for.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Let's take
So
Franklin.
Let's give it a chance.
okay, so if I manage every park in North Lawndale, Austin, and East and West Garfield. Of course, now if you go outside after the snow has just melted, you will go and you will see debris. But every day we are out there cleaning, making sure that we get those things taken care of. And the park district is one of the agencies that are modeled. The city model of great programming as well as clean and safe parks. We have clean and safe parks, and that's not the only thing that that's not the only.
I have to move on to crime. You mentioned crime, but on a micro level, what are your specific proposals to reduce crime in your ward?
The only way to reduce crime, we talk about the children putting the guns down. If they put the guns down, what are you going to replace them with? After school facilities, jobs. For instance, I'll go back to the park district. Our children can't even play in the park district. I live right across the street from the park, and it's always in decaying condition. There's garbage repeatedly out there. We have to call often to have the grass cut. It's despicable. Kids don't feel safe going to the parks. Every time you turn around, there are fights, there are gun battles at the park. Our parks are in the worst shape ever.
You're both saying that there's an issue of cleanliness, and all other issues kind of stem from that. Mr. Scott, more police officers in your ward?
More police officers are welcome. We definitely need more police officers, but I think we need a better relationship between.
Officers is not the
I believe we need a better relationship between the police department and our community, a mutual respect, if you will. So, I again work at the Chicago Park District, and I've talked to officers, and they tell me that it's a quality of life issue in the 24th Ward. And my response to them is our quality of life in the 24th Ward should be the same as it is in Lincoln Park, as it is in Chatham, as it is in any other neighborhood. And as the alderman, I would be an advocate on behalf of my community.
And speaking of the relationship between the police and the public, the Homan Square facility is in the 24th Ward. The Guardian newspaper called it a, quote, CIA-style black site where people are interrogated there off the books. What do you know about this facility?
Well, I was actually at one of the rallies. They invited me to it. And right now there's a lot of allegations out there, but they're also calling for an investigation to make sure that what they're being accused of is factual. I also attended a second rally there, and they're pushing to get an investigation to see if what the complaints are actually true. I don't know if Mr. Scott has done that. I can say that I hardly ever see him in the community as it relates to any issues. The schools closings, I haven't seen him there. Fighting on construction projects, I haven't seen him there. I haven't seen him at all in the community, and yet he steps up to one of our.
Have you checked out Homan Square?
I have been by Homan Square, and again, I think that you do have to do your due diligence and investigate and make sure that these allegations are correct. But I'd like to respond to. I would like to respond to what she was saying. I live, work, and play in the 24th Ward. I've been on Albany for 30 years of my life, and I think it's a farce for anybody to say to me that I'm not in the community. I manage every park in North Lawndale.
And
I live in North Lawndale. That is not the truth.
Ms. Boyce, the Cook County State's Attorney is looking into allegations that your campaign was buying votes for $10. That, as you know, is a felony. Was your campaign buying votes?
Absolutely not, and it's exactly what it is. It's an allegation, and I'm quite sure.
Well, there was a Fox investigation that interviewed people that said they were approached, being offered $10 to vote for you. They're not connected to you?
They're not connected to me at all. And if you listen to the young man that they were questioning, he said a man took him into the alley. He said a man offered him $10, and he also said, I'm a supporter of Beatrice Boyce's anyway. So why would we solicit a supporter and pay him $10 when I already have his vote? Just like, the mailer that's going out. Allegations, that's exactly what they are. And I stand firm that that is not how we conduct business at all.
We're going to have to leave it there. Beatrice Boyce, Michael Scott, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank
and
you.
Up next, the winner of the coveted